How's the hunting, shiny hunters? I'm Pokemon Trainer Dan, and upon request, I'm here to make a video covering how you can use Pokemon abilities to make your shiny hunts easier. First, I'll be covering what abilities there are and what they do, and then be showing exactly how you can calculate your spawn rates using those abilities. Let's do this. So, here we have a spreadsheet that makes things a little easier for everyone watching and myself. On here, you can see we have a list of all the abilities that can benefit your shiny hunting in some way. There are more abilities that have overworld effects. I chose to exclude them from this spreadsheet because they're not actually helping your shiny hunting. So, in the first column, we have, just the general list of abilities. Self-explanatory. The second column is a small, less than 10-word description of what the ability does. You'll notice there are some that are not very well described, like shifts spawn rates. I'll explain that a little later. In the third column here, we have the gens. That's the ability works, and not every ability had an overworld effect in every gen. Some of them specifically got new effects in Sword and Shield. So I'll get into that as well. And then the fourth column is just a Cerebi link to the ability decks. From that link, you can, also read a brief description of what the ability does, but they tend to have a list of all the Pokemon that get that ability. So, for example, we're just going to choose Flashfire here. It shifts the spawn rates to favor Fire-type Pokemon. I'll explain that in a second, but let's open this Cerebi link. So here we are on Cerebi's ability decks page entry for Flashfire, and from here you can see the in-depth effect and outside of battle effect for the ability. But we only care about the outside of battle effect. But the main thing that you can use this page to do is, you have a full list of every Pokemon that gets this ability, even the ones outside of Sword and Shield, because you can see the likes of Heatran and Houndoom are here. And then there's also a subsection for ones who get this as their hidden ability. I don't know why you'd use a hidden ability one for shiny hunting, but, you might just have it sitting in your box, and you're just like, oh, I could use that. But that's a nice explanation of the page, and now I'm going to explain how certain abilities calculate their spawn changes. So let's get right into that. Now, if we look back at the spreadsheet, we can see there's quite a few abilities that say shifts spawn rate. You got one here, you got one here, here. There's quite a few abilities that say shift spawn rate, and we're going to go over that now. So what shift spawn rate does is it actually takes percentages of the spawn rates of the other Pokemon and puts them into a different Pokemon. So we're going to go over an example real quick. So let's say you want to hunt Sizzlipede. So Sizzlipede can only be found in one of two ways. You can either breed eggs for it using the pseudo method, which is time consuming and boring, frankly, or you can look for it on Route 3. Because as you see here, it says it could be found on Route 3. It says Monostoke, but that's the one you get in the gyms. I don't think you can... You could shiny hunt that. We're not going to go into it. So we're going to focus on Route 3. So if you notice, I actually pulled up Route 3 ahead of time. Sizzlipede can only be found in the random grass at a 1% rate. That's just awful. But we can change that with the use of Flashfire. So here is how the math works. So let me get my calculator over here. We have a calculator. And you're also just going to want something to take notes on because it's going to be hard to remember the numbers. So how all of the abilities on that spreadsheet that say shift spawn rates, so what they do is they take the percentages for all of the Pokemon except for the type that you're looking for and halves it, and then puts it into the type you're looking for. So if we're flash firing, Sizzlipede is the only fire type that spawns in this grass. So Sizzlipede is the only one getting the benefit from this. So let's do the math real quick. So Rookidee, we want to take half of Rookidee's spawn percentage. So that's 17.5. We want to take half of Machops. That's easy math. That's 10. Half of Panchamps is 10. Half of Mudbraze is 7.5. Wait, that's right. Yeah, 7.5. Let me get the exact number for 9. 4.5. Alright, so there you go. You have the halved numbers of everything else that spawns on that route. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take all those numbers and you're just gonna add them up. So you got 17.5. Where'd my decimal point go? 0.5 plus 10 plus 10 plus 7.5 plus 4.5, and then you're going to take Sizzlepede's solo 1%, and there you go. So, just to recap, you take the halves of everything else, make a list of them, add them all together, and then add the percentage of the thing you're looking for. So what we've essentially done is, by flash firing, we turned Sizzlepede's 1% spawn into a 50.5% of the spawn. So half the time that I'm hitting shaky grass, or random grass, whatever you want to call it, half the time it's gonna be Sizzlepede now. That's just incredible. But let's go over another example. And actually, we're gonna go over an example in an earlier game. So we're actually gonna go over an example from Pokemon X and Y. So, if we refer back to the spreadsheet, I know we're coming back to this a lot. It's a really handy-dandy tool. I'll link it down in the description. But if we come back to the spreadsheet, we notice that there are a few abilities that do the shift thing outside of Sword and Shield. And there are only 2 of them. Magnet Pull and Static. So Magnet Pull does the same thing for Steel types, and then Static does the same thing for Electric types. And we'll use another example just to, for an example. So we're going to go over here. So this is Route 5 in the Kalos region. So Pokemon X and Y. If we scroll down, let's say we want to look for Plusle or Minim. They both spawn at the same rate, just in different games. They're at an atrocious 5%. Let's fix that. So let's grab our calculator. Boop. Let's grab our notepad. Boop. There we go. I don't even think I need the calculator for this one, because all of the numbers are pretty rounded, and I'm decent at math. So we have 15, 10, 10, oh, that's not a 0. Oh, wait, hold up. No, 10, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then 2.5. Yep, that's correct. Alright, so let's add that all up. 15, 10... 5, 5, 5, 5, 2.5, and that gives us 47.5, but then we have to include Plusle's initial percentage and add another 5. So we changed Plusle from a 5% spawn to a 52.5% spawn, so you're now seeing Plusle about half the time. Amazing. It's just so cool how you can use these abilities to really change the spawn rates and make things easier on yourself. But you know what's even easier? What if there was a handy-dandy tool that did this calculation for you? And guess what? There is! It's the Shiny Encounter Calculator. Well, the Pokemon Encounter Calculator. I'll give a link to this down in the description. But this is such a unique tool. And what it does is you can essentially pick whatever game you're in. So you can do Heart Gold. We're going to go back to X for the sake of double-checking my math. Route 5, walking. And then, in the ability section, you can set an ability. You can see that Static and Magnet Pull are here. So those are super useful. You can even Repel Trick. It calculates for Repel Tricking. If you don't know what that is, I'll probably make another video on that in the future. But let's say we're staticking. Look at the spawns. It's the same. You hit go. Look at that. I'm right. 52.5% on Plusle. So the math lines up. But it's so neat that someone made this wonderful tool to make everything easier. It calculates everything up to Ultra Sun and Moon. It doesn't do Gen 8, and that's the whole point of this video, was to show you the math. For if you wanted to do it in Sword and Shield, because Sword and Shield added a cluster of new abilities that actually help with this, such as Storm Drain, Harvest, Flash Fire, Lightning Rod. There's like a bunch more abilities that actually help with this, but they only work in Sword and Shield, so I felt it was important to make this video to explain the math. But if you're using any of the older games, I highly recommend using the Pokemon Encounter Calculator. Yet again, link in the description for where you can download it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this helps you figure out how to do the math on these certain abilities that will shift the spawn rates. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful one. Stay hunting.